The first time I experienced colorism, which at the time just really floored me, was in Nigeria. I felt I was started as the ugly one because I was the darker one.
And this is it.
Which is like, oh, so you're trying to...
Dark-skinned men across the board are idolized, over-sexualized.
Black as a berry.
Do you understand?
Sweet as the juice.
But black...
Tanned, olive, brown,
exotic.
Skin, exotic.
Thank you.
Looking...
Anywho.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Naija Girls Dish with Dolapo and
Diana.
So we're going to talk about colorism in any which way we please. First up, this is what I want to say. When I was living in England, once upon a time. For me, I didn't experience colorism. I didn't experience colorism whilst I was here, when I was in boarding school, all of that, because it was like, you're either black or you're not. So it was more of a race thing. It wasn't about the shade of black I was, right?
Yeah.
The first time I experienced colorism, which at the time, just really floored me, was in Nigeria. And when I look back, I just think to myself, I don't even understand, like, it's sad to me. So, I experienced it on a show that I was working on. I'm pretty sure people can guess, but it's not like a secret. And I was working with someone who was biracial. And it wasn't from her end, it was the way we were treated and how I felt that we were treated differently. Not by everyone, but by certain parties. And what I remember when I first started working on this job, that job in particular, and I would look at like blog posts that they'd write about, the presenters, blah, blah, blah. And then I would see what people were saying underneath. And a lot of the times people would say, oh, I don't understand why this person is more popular. The other person seems to be like the main host. This was at the time, because towards the end, we kind of basically did the same thing. But the other person seems to be the main host, blah, 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 blah. That Nigerians, we shall just like the fairer complexion, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just remember my color was talked about a lot. And it was basically, I was the dark one. And it's so funny because I have no issue with my skin tone. I've never had an issue with my skin tone. But I suddenly became the dark one. Dark in relation to what?
What? Yeah.
When somebody looks white, of course I didn't. To me, it was just so insane. And it was just insane that it was a constant thing. Like, it was constantly highlighted. And I remember thinking, I don't understand. Aren't we both black? Like, we're in Nigeria. Why is this like an issue? So for me, that was my first experience of colorism. I was 29 or something at the time, ages ago. I was just kind of like, there was a point where it was like I felt like I was touted as the ugly one.
Well,
I felt I was touted as the ugly one because I was the darker one.
And this is it.
Which is like, oh, so you're trying to say the darker you are, the uglier you, like, it equates into not being beautiful.
That's exactly what it does.
That was my experience of it.
That's exactly what it does. When we talk about representation, TV, books, film, theater, romance, love, who gets to fall in love, who watches the love story versus who's in the love story. Black people but we're focusing on color here. The darker you are, the less likely you are to fall in love, because love is beautiful. And once you've attached darkness to ugly, it then doesn't make sense that you're going to put a dark character to fall in love. For me, colorism is just so deep. It's just so deep. My issue, more than anything, is if you are of the fairer hue, not understanding your privilege. I think that's my problem. You are born how you were born. Please, Biko, continue, be happy. Yeah. But understand that you have a leg up. Understand that you're winning in one way that someone else isn't. And that's based on complexion, period, point blank. It doesn't take away from your talent. It doesn't take, if you have talent, by the way, that's if you even have any, because some people don't, and this is for light, dark, whatever color. It doesn't take away from your talent, it doesn't take away from how hard you work, but you have a leg up. You have a leg up. It's black and white. There's no gray area. There's no, oh, but no, because when you have the conversation, people want to say things like, oh, well, you know, I'm just, really, is it?
Yeah.
No, don't make that aloof face. I cannot stand it.
I think that I've heard conversations being brought up that certain people who are light in complexion are where they are because of their complexion, and they really take offense to it. They really take offense to it. They say no, it's because they've worked hard. And the thing is, I don't dispute that you've worked hard
At all.
but it's almost like people saying, oh, I got a presenting gig because I've got a British accent. Yes, okay. I identify with it, yes. It helped me. They automatically think I'm more eloquent. I may not be, but they automatically think it.
Yeah.
So they gave me the job. So if they gave me the job because I have a British accent, that's like me saying, no, it's because I worked hard. Yes, I worked hard, but
I have a British accent.
okay, they gave me the job because I'm a fine girl. Okay. And I worked hard. I think that a lot of people who take offense to that think you're taking away from their hard work, and it's not. It's just a fact. In Nigeria, if you are fair in complexion, it gives you an advantage in what, I don't know, it just
every avenue.
I'm trying to not even think of a job, but like,
no, banking.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Because I'm still trying to really
why. I know why.
Figure it out. Like, well, because they think it's, they think you look more beautiful.
We have, honestly, the proximity to whiteness has been the age-old tale. White, it's just better. That's the way it's seen. And then if we're talking about the industry that we are in the creative industry, you know, I remember one person said that, you know, it's just hard to see dark-skinned people on screen. They don't tell the story well. They don't sell the story. They're not entertaining to watch. Yes, no, it was during, let me not be mentioning people's names. But yeah, it was like, it's hard. I don't even care. I was about to say that. Do I care? Yeah, it was Film 1. Film 1, it was years and years ago. They said, oh, it's
Film 1 in Nigeria.
There you go. Yes, no. Film 1 in Nigeria, this was years ago, when they said, oh, we really would prefer a light-skinned lead because it's hard for dark-skinned people to carry a film. And these were the words that were said. Dark-skinned people cannot carry a film. My thing is, I don't swim in the pool of, woe is me.
Dark skin? I don't understand.
See, this is...
those are the levels of dark.
This is it. The palatable dark, the acceptable dark, the sexy dark. It's so nuanced. It's insane, because if you're now dark skinned, you now don't have the luxury of maybe being bigger. You don't have the luxury of having bad skin. You don't have the luxury of not being fine. And I'm talking about, you know, statistically, you know,
whatever
Eurocentric
means,
fine,
yeah.
you know. Because the real issue is, are you happy with yourself? Are you not happy with yourself? Go where you're accepted, go where you're appreciated, and go where you're celebrated. And colorism is rampant because people just don't own up to their privilege. Be honest and be an ally, because ultimately, yes, it's the black race, it is the other race, or whatever, however you want to do it. The English is hard.
But inside the black race,
there's just so much issue, and this is the reason why we're still here fighting one another. And I just think if you can honestly, with your full chest, say, I'm beautiful, I'm talented, but yes, I did get a leg up because I'm fairer. I did get a leg up because I am seen as more beautiful to watch. Just be honest about it. And then stop calling people and saying, when you see people in Nigeria, you're black, Sha. I looked in the mirror. Yeah, I am. And I like it. Yeah. I love it.
Lunch is here.
So that's our cue.
We'll be back. Sorry guys, had to sort out the food. Yes, what were we saying?
Colorism.
Yes.
For me, I knew I'm dark. I've been dark my entire life. I come from a very chocolate family, and colorism has just been around. But moving to Nigeria was when I knew that my darkness was on a level that I was unaware of.
But that's what is upsetting to me, that it is in a nation where everybody's black that makes you aware of your color, but in a negative light.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just deep that for a second? That's pretty messed up.
Like, I remember one of the reasons why I considered Nollywood. I was like, instead of me coming back to the UK, why don't I go to an industry that is designed for me? The only thing that can be against me is if my talent is not, you know, up to par. But to get there, and then they tell you, lighting is about to be a problem for you. And I was just like, that's not my job though. That's your job. You went to school for that. My skill set is very, 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 very sitting pretty. So I think just living in Nigeria as a darker skinned person, it's a daily reminder. It's like,
especially in that industry.
Do you understand? It's a everyone feels like they have a duty to remind you. They'll tell you, hey, you're black, Sha. You're fine.
And you know,
hey,
we just blurt things out.
You're fat, Sha. You are this, Sha.
But we know people who have been, well, I know one person that was told that, she should consider lightening her skin tone. Then she would get more roles. I mean, so the thing is, I don't even want to go into the bleaching topic because that's a whole other thing in itself.
Yeah.
So when people do those things, in my brain I'm thinking, can you even blame them? If somebody is telling you that for you to get a leg up, you would probably be getting certain roles if you were lighter. So if you're also not a strong-minded person and you're thinking, it's do or die, I've got to do whatever it takes, maybe you decide that that's the route that you're going to take.
And like you said earlier, someone's going to watch this and say, what about Genevieve? What about this person? What about this person? There is a hierarchy in the dark skin society. Okay. Especially for women. Because dark skinned men across the board are idolized, over-sexualized, and are just doted on.
The black of the berry.
Do you understand?
Sweet of the juice.
But black, darker skinned women, there's a hierarchy. Are you a pretty dark skinned girl? You know that, pretty for a dark skinned girl. Are you a slim dark skinned girl? Do you have Eurocentric features as a dark skinned girl? Do you have African features as a dark skinned girl? There's just so many tier systems. There's just so many levels where you can't just be black. You can't just be dark. And you keep reminding dark skinned people that they're dark. They're very okay. They know. We know. Thank you.
The whole thing is messed up. I think what I'm finding now is in England, from what I can see from the press and all that stuff, is like they're calling it racially ambiguous. I also watch a lot of YouTube. So there's they speak about it also in the US, like women that are just they've got tan skin, they've got curly hair. You cannot tell where they're from. Are they Mexican? Are they biracial? Are they half black? Like, you actually cannot tell. It's almost like this new race that you just don't really know where anyone is from.
It's like a filler.
Because it's basically like, you're not pale, but you have this tanned olive brown
exotic. Thank you.
Looking,
thinking of the words.
And that's what's now really attractive. And then your body is a certain way, and and that's basically what you see. People, those are the kind of people that are getting hired for jobs or whatever. So that's now a whole nother level of whatever it is, where people want to look that way because they feel like those are now the people that are getting a leg up in whatever industry it is. In entertainment industry, let's be honest. So for me, that's like what I heard the first time I heard it, there's this guy that I watched, and he called it racially ambiguous, that these girls, and he said on the Pretty Little Things, on all those websites, those are all the models look like. Racially ambiguous. You cannot tell where they're from.
Bruh, you're not finding
you look at, are they from black?
Swindon?
I don't,
They're from
and
Reading.
it's like, that's the look, because they feel like that's basically what people want to hire now. So,
and it's that thing. There's a privilege. It's an entitlement, and it's a privilege because you are other. You are just up in the air. You're like a fart.
I think it's you're fair enough so that it's not offensive, and you're dark enough so that it's ethnic enough and exotic.
Yes, you can't just be, if you can't be dark,
but you still have like you've got European features, but it's like there's you add a bit of splash of blackness, and
it's that happy blend.
I think you know what, I thank God for confidence and for the fact that no one can make me feel less than because of the color of my skin, the shade, the kidney, what's and all is, but there are people out there that it is a problem for them. People make it a problem for them. So
I think there's just a lot of young people in Nigeria that are being heavily influenced by what they see, and if all we're showcasing is racially ambiguous or incredibly light-skinned girls, to be specific, in positions of power and in positions of pretty power as well. It reinforces the idea that pretty is not synonymous with being dark, and that is a big ass lie, because pretty is just as dark as light. Okay. Anywho. That's
it for this week. We will see you next time. I keep saying this week. That's it for this episode.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.